Hey, Summerhill Cinema 700 here, just stopping on by for a fairly quick video. I just wanted to talk about the film The Conjuring because I finally watched it today for the first time. And it's one I had kind of wanted to watch for quite a while. And I have to admit, I can be naive when it comes to newer horror movies, as I'm just such a fan of like 80s slasher films and just the old classic horror films, it's hard to top them. So I can be naive when it comes to modern horror movies, but I watched this finally for the first time today. I did a review of The Changeling, which is a paranormal type of haunted house movie from the early 80s. Did a review of that one and the Blu-ray from Severn Films back in 2018, around this time, October. And I think it was the Movie King, his channel, his name is. He commented saying you should check out The Conjuring, and because I said that in the video, I think I had said that I wasn't a fan of modern horror because I think that it relies too much on jump scares, which I still believe that for the most part. But there are definitely some films out there that aren't so much reliant on just jump scares, and I found that this was one of them. So hopefully, if you're watching this Movie King, I finally watched The Conjuring and I enjoyed it enough to do a video quickly on it. Rather than just doing a whole in-depth review, though, because there's so many reviews on this film out there, I just thought I'd give my brief thoughts on the film. But yeah, so this film's from 2013. It follows this family that move into this house. And before we get on to it, it should be noted that this is based on a true story. Family that moves into this house, they start experiencing really disturbing paranormal activity. Like, for example, like one of the kids is being tugged at the end of the bed. They start seeing like shadowy figures and stuff is being moved around, and then like a violent poltergeist starts attacking, and eventually the mom in the movie ends up getting possessed. And then so you follow this family and all the traumatic stuff that they're going through, as well as these these two like paranormal investigators, a man and a woman. The woman was played by what's her name, Vera Farmiga, if I'm pronouncing that right. She was in The Orphan, which is another modern horror movie that I enjoyed. But they're these paranormal investigators. The Warren is their last name in the film, and they have a daughter too in the movie. And then the other family, I think they're called the Parents, the Perrin family. So the Warrens. They're paranormal investigators, or like he's a demonologist, and she can kind of like she can look at something and see what happened there in the past. She gets like visions, and she can see like if somebody was killed somewhere or whatnot. So we follow them, and they're basically trying to help them get rid of these demonic spirits that are in their house. And it's a super creepy film, and this film is based in the early 70s, which is when this whole incident originally transpired. And like I said, it's based on true events. And then I think The Conjuring 2 is based on the Enfield poltergeist case, which we'll get into maybe after a little bit. But yeah, so being based in the early 70s, you think, oh, are they going to be able to recreate the look and the atmosphere of the early 70s? And they definitely did with this film, in my opinion. Just having watched so many films from that era, they definitely recreated the 70s very well, I think, with the cars and the clothing that they were wearing and just everything. And just everything. It definitely had a 70s feel to it, early 70s kind of feel to the film. But yeah, I kind of, that covers basically what's going on in this house. It's super creepy. There's tons of freaky stuff. There's like one scene where they're like playing tag, but they're like clapping their hands. And every time the kid claps her hands, it's like the mom's looking for her, so she knows if she's getting close or not. And then she hears a clap, and then she turns around and her daughter's behind her, but the clap came from the other side. It's super creepy. But yeah, the story itself is very interesting because, of course, being based on a true story, super creepy, makes it even more messed up. The characters, I found that everybody in this film, the characters were great. The paranormal investigators, the Warrens, and then all the Perrin family, I think they were called. They did a great job. All the young kids that were in this film, they did an awesome job. And pretty much everybody, I liked everybody in this film. There wasn't any characters that I didn't like. I think they all did a really good job. All the kid actors, and then all the adult actors, they all did a fantastic job in this film. The soundtrack was great too. It had a horror soundtrack that you would hear from a movie back in the past and think this is a classic horror soundtrack. So great soundtrack. And then yeah, it had its jump scares, but it didn't just like solely. It didn't just constantly rely on jump scares. It had some. At times, there was a few where it was like, okay, that they may have been able to make that more creepy if they hadn't had a jump scare in that particular part of the film, but it didn't rely on them, and it kept you like the first like probably like almost half this movie, maybe not quite half, but the first quite a bit into this movie, there's not any jump scares. It's just building up the story and the characters, and just slowly things start getting more and more creepy and weirder things start happening, and it works perfectly. So yeah, it's definitely I really enjoyed the film. Super creepy, especially because I believe that all this stuff is real. I believe that this demonic possession is a real thing, and I listen to this radio show Coast to Coast AM, and they talk about stuff like this all the time. Demonic possession. It's pretty scary stuff. And then yeah, I think that the second film is based off the Enfield poltergeist case, which I remember reading about that. I always liked reading paranormal stuff and ghosts and UFOs, and I remember reading about that. I remember seeing that picture of that girl levitating off the bed, and that scared the hell out of me. So definitely check out the second film eventually. But yeah, I wanted to just come by with my brief thoughts on the Conjuring. So again, yeah, I thought that it was a very good horror movie to come out of the last 20 years. Yeah, it was just entertaining. Again, characters, the cast was great. Great soundtrack. Enjoyed the story. The fact that it's based on a true story makes it even more creepy. They recreated the 70s pretty well, in my opinion. And again, they didn't just rely on jump scares. Although when they did happen, it made it all the more terrifying. But yeah, I don't know what else there is more I could say about this film. I could go on for a while, but I definitely enjoyed this one. I'll definitely look into picking up the Blu-ray and checking out the other films. The one thing I forgot to mention too, there's a whole bunch of other films too, like based in this same universe, the Conjuring universe, stuff like Annabelle, which is a doll that's in the film. I didn't find that doll that creepy. A lot of people were terrified of the doll. I didn't find it that creepy. There's definitely more creepy dolls I've seen in movies. I guess dolls don't really creep me out that much, honestly. They used to. If you had said that to me like when I was like a little kid and I saw like Chucky, it scared the hell out of me. But they have a whole bunch of like these Annabelle films which are based off the doll from this film. But that part of the movie I can honestly even do without. But the Annabelle doll kind of had to do with the paranormal investigators, some of the past cases that they had, and that was like one of they keep memorabilia from each case that they do, each like ghost that they go to or possession that they go to, they keep an artifact from it. And this one, it was like a wind up box. But yeah, just super creepy movie, and I definitely enjoyed that one. So thank you for recommending that, Movie King. I'm definitely glad that I checked it out. It was on the AMC Fear Fest. I recorded it and watched it on there. So definitely glad I did that. And yeah, just super creepy, unsettling movie. And I definitely enjoyed that one. So that's my little brief review and thoughts on the Conjuring from 2013. Let me know what you think of this film. Are you a fan of it? And yeah, stay tuned. Maybe I'll watch the second film eventually and do a little video on that. So thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Take care.